तो आइए आज के इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करते हैं। मैं निवेदन करूंगा सभी मेहमान और महानुभावों को दीप प्रागट्य के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़े। To grace this occasion today, we have with us distinguished guests and dignitaries. We would like to welcome them with a huge round of applause. I would first like to welcome Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar, Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. With a huge round of applause. I would like to introduce Sir. Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar, a former chip designer, is currently serving as the Union Minister of State in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. He has been in public service for last 16 years. As a technology entrepreneur, he is known as one of the pioneers who built the Indian telecom sector and established India's biggest cellular network in India. His telecom startup BPL Mobile became a unicorn when the word unicorn was not even coined. With an experience of over 3 decades in technology, he is considered to be one of the leading minds on technology in India. As a minister, he has been advocating and leading the Digital India program launched by Honorable PM in 2015. He is working towards implementing Honorable PM's vision of transforming India into a global skill hub. Sir, we are indeed privileged and honored to have you here with us. We welcome Shri Ketanbhai Marwadi, Honorable Founder and President Marwadi University, with a huge round of applause. We also welcome Shri Jeetubhai Chandarana, Honorable Co-Founder and Vice President Marwadi University, Shri Jeetbhai Marwadi, Honorable Trustee Marwadi University, Shri Naresh Jadeja Sir, Honorable Registrar Marwadi University, the Deans, Directors, HODs, faculty members and dear students. We welcome you all. May I now request Professor Dr. Sandeep Sancheti, Honorable Provost, to address the gathering.
Namaskar and a very good afternoon to everyone present here. Very respected chief guest of today's function, Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji, Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and also for the Electronics and Information Technology of Government of India. We are also happy that Government of India started its own Startup India initiative way back in 2015, once again at the behest of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. And today, India is proud that something like 75,000 startups are there in the country, with more than 100 unicorns which are there. But what is more striking for us is we are sitting here in Gujarat, and Gujarat is one who has driven this particular thing very actively. Gujarat started what we call Student Startup and Innovation Policy, very well known in Gujarat as SSIP, and it was first version which seeded it, and this was in 2017. We were also a part of it, and today Gujarat claims to have around more than 14,000 startups out of those 75,000 in Gujarat alone, and with initial investment of more than 100 crores, all these things started. And today, also because of all these avenues and all these activities, Gujarat enjoys what we call typically the first rank in the country in terms of starting startup ranks, and for 3 years in consecutive years, Gujarat has received the first rank. So we are part of that journey. We are also a contributor to that journey, and that is what makes us different in certain sense. We are now, of course, starting on SSIP 2.0 also, which has been launched recently by the state, and it has much more loftier goals, and we are here to fulfill them and to achieve them. Talking specifically about our entrepreneurship, incubation and innovation, sir, which is the focus of today's listing. We are very proud to inform you that we have received funding which is reasonably very large, I would say, for our efforts which we have started. The state government has committed us around 2 crores of rupees, and the central government through New Gen IEDC has given us something like 2.9 crore of rupees, and the entire activity under these two frameworks of SSIP and New Gen IEDC are under progress. We have currently dedicated around 3,000 square feet of area for these kind of spaces, and would like to show you all those things, but will possibly be moving very soon. We have already earmarked the new place, and there'll be much more increase in the area in multifold times to make the entrepreneurship become much more vibrant and much more visible. We do have labs, what we sometimes call it as tinkering lab or open lab or fab lab or 24/7 lab. Those labs are there. First office, incubation facility, co-working and networking spaces are also available. And we are also recognized as a nodal center for the Startup Gujarat by the government of Gujarat itself. We have funded around 83 innovation ideas in different categories of our funding, which we have received 83. And we have also conducted 110 major activities under the entrepreneurship, incubation and innovation of different kind. These may be seminars, these may be other interactions which are there. We also partnered with one of the iconic facility of the country called T-Hub, located in Hyderabad, IIIT Hyderabad. We have partnered with them to train our people and learn something from them also. We have in all incubated 9 companies here, and one of them happens to be our own internal company, which has started doing extremely well, which is a joint effort of our teachers and our staff members which are there. We have filed around 86, you can say, 86 patents or designs or copyrights which we have filed in recent times, and 42 have been granted to us. And through our efforts of entrepreneurship, we have earned revenue a little over 1 crore till now. So these are the highlights of our entrepreneurship effort which we are doing. Talking about skills and certifications, sir, we have a support of around 3.37 crore, total investment of around 3.37 crore directly for that. Some of them are in form of the software or hardware facilities which are there. For example, we have a Bosch center, we have a vertical machining center, CNC lab, etc. Then we have also developed facilities for rapid casting. We have trained more than 1,400 people in these 3 areas of only VMC, CNC and Bosch, and of course rapid casting. And there are many more which are there obviously in the computing domain. Computing domain, software domain is pretty big. And there again we have invested around 83 lakhs with the support of Oracle, Cisco and Amazon, and initiated programs which are also on different domains like iOS development and so on and so forth. And once again, for skilling, obviously it required more area. So we have dedicated space of around 11,500 square feet available. Would like, if time permits, you to see and guide us and then let us know if something more can be done. So these are some few highlights, sir, to all of you, that this is what Marwadi has achieved in last 6 years, and with the support of everyone who is present here in this hall, and also the leaders who have guided us from time to time. So with these small inputs from our side, we are once again ready to get more excited, more interested, more driven to achieve even greater heights in this. And with these words and with these expectations and interests, I once again wholeheartedly welcome each and everyone present in this hall, and also welcome the online presence of all the special people who are attending this session through online for discussions on what we call New India for Young India. So with these words, thank you once again and a very warm welcome to everyone.
Thank you very much, sir, for your introductory remarks. I would like to invite Ms. Anjali Chauhan from Faculty of Engineering, Ms. Dwani Veita from Faculty of Science, and Mr. Harshil Jalavadia from Faculty of Management Studies for a fireside chat with the Honorable Minister.
A very good afternoon, sir. We welcome you on behalf of the university. We are very honorable to have you here as a guest and panelist at the fireside chat. We really hope to have a really meaningful and a learning experience throughout the conversation we have. So let us start with introducing ourselves. So I'm Harshil Jalavadia. I'm pursuing BBA honors from Marwadi University itself. Apart from the academics, if I talk about myself, I have a strong technical and entrepreneurial background. So I'm working in this field since I was 9 years old, working on technology and then founding my first company at the age of 12. And the journey has been adventurous since now. So now I pass my mic to Anjali for introducing herself.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Anjali Chauhan and I am currently pursuing computer engineering in Marwadi University. With my studies, I'm also working on two startups parallelly and also preparing for the national basketball tournament. Now I'll pass the mic to my teammate Dhwani.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Dhwani Vaitha. I am pursuing microbiology, MSc Microbiology, and you're for Faculty of Science. So let's don't waste time and start the fireside set. My first question is, as we all are students over here and we all are facing our student life, and you have faced that too, so I just want to know what is the checklist the all students have to go through and tick that checklist for their better and successful life.
So first of all, thank you all at Marwadi University for welcoming me. Thank you Harsh, Anjali and Dhwani for being the questioners in this fireside chat. Look, I think you are students at a time and a place which is very, very far away from when we were students. And I think you are living at a time when India is a very different India. It is an India on the move. It is a resurgent India, and there are huge opportunities for young students all across the landscape. But so therefore I won't compare my student life with yours, nor would I try and pretend or to be patronized enough to give you any advice. But I certainly think that given the kind of opportunities that are out there, one of the things that should be on your checklist up on top should be that success. And different people have different metrics of success. Some people believe in good grades. Some people believe in getting good recommendation letters from your professors. There are many, many different metrics of success. But I think if you can focus on developing your skill sets and knowledge in a way that positions you well for the vast number of emerging opportunities for young Indians in this new India, in terms of startups, in terms of new opportunities globally, and you keep that, I will be successful and I will definitely make my mark as your number one item on the checklist. The rest of the things can follow. Insta Reels, Facebook posts, all that other stuff that is important to you can also follow. But I think be determined to be successful, because that is really the difference between the people who are winners and the people who are not winners.
Thank you for that answer, sir. I'm curious, you coming from a military background, what are the values and traits which help you shape your career?
So I come from a military background in the sense that I'm a son of a Fauji, and therefore I have lived all my young life amongst men and families who lived and died in the interest of the service of the nation. So that teaches you something. That teaches you that there is a concept called nation first, there is a concept called India first, and that people are willing to serve, live and die by that concept. It is not an abstract concept. It is not something you see in a movie where Sunny Deol is in Border or Hrithik Roshan is in some other movie. These are real people and they live by those values. So I think I would like to believe, I'm not arrogant enough to believe that I've got all those values, but I like to believe that I have imbibed some of those values in my life as an entrepreneur and in my life in public life, in terms of serving the nation. I think one of the biggest motivations for me to join politics was that I saw many people serving the nation in uniform, and I thought this is one way that I could serve my nation. So I hope I have imbibed some of those values, but clearly I will not be arrogant enough to say that I have imbibed all the values.
Definitely, sir. You are serving at your best. So we really have many idols in our life. So we want to know who's your hero, who's your idol in your life who have made you a successful person.
ये मुश्किल है क्योंकि because I have had at different times I've been inspired by different people. Currently I absolutely enthralled by and inspired by the vision for our new India that our Prime Minister is building. So I have absolutely no hesitation saying that he inspires me to work 20 hours a day, to travel as I do, and to pass the message of New India to all of you. But I've had other inspirations. I've had Field Marshal Manekshaw, who was a great army general who led our Indian army into victory in 1971 over Pakistan. I have had inspirations like Andy Grove of Intel, who built Intel. So I have, like that, many people. For me, Dhoni is a great inspiration. Not because I'm a fan of cricket, I'm not a fan of cricket, but he inspires me for his work ethic and his determination. So different, people inspire me differently. And I think Anjali, you said you play basketball.
Yes.
So, I think in basketball, different people would inspire, I'm assuming Anjali. And in your microbiology, there will be a different sort of people who inspire. So, I would hesitate in recommending that you be inspired by one person for all the attributes and values that you want to build in your life as an adult. Different people should teach you different things. And hopefully that sum of parts, the whole will be more than the sum of parts.
As you mentioned the names, I really want to ask, being a female gender, who is a woman side, emphasize you. Is there any specific woman idol you look up to?
No, every son looks up to his mother, every brother looks up to, respects his sister. So, leaving that aside for a minute, I think there are many stories. Amelia Earhart, I'm a flyer, I'm an aviator. If you Google the story of Amelia Earhart, she was the first woman to try and circumnavigate the globe in the late 30s in an aeroplane, and then she mysteriously disappeared because her aircraft crashed into the sea. There are many people. If you look at ISRO today, there are so many scientists today who are responsible for the Indian entire space ecosystem who are women. So, naturally my heroes have been obviously men that I have worked with or people that I have known. But it is today, in today's new India, there are tremendous number of women icons who are succeeding. One of the women, for example, when we launched in March, April, we had the first global India Semiconductor Conference. And the lamp that was lit for the conference was lit by 3 of the top semiconductor technology professionals in India. And all 3 were women. One was the CEO of Intel India, Nivruti Rai. One was the CEO of AMD India, Jaya Jagdish. And the other was a lady, Ruma, from Microtech. So look for them and you'll find your heroes.
Thank you for the answer, sir. I love the idea of having multiple idols from separate fields. Coming back to the question, we adore you as a man of culture. We all know that we come from lens of innovation. We had and still have some of the best architectural designs across the globe. We had inspirational leaders and influencers like Vishnugupta Chanakya. How do you think we can make the current generation realize the true value of our Indian culture?
So I think and I'm trying to be very clear about this answer. We are celebrating 75 years of our independence today, in this year. For the most part of the 75 years, India was seen by the rest of the world as a weak, poor country, defensive. Its democracy lacked depth and quality, its governance lacked functionality and is dysfunctional. So there were very few reasons for us to be very proud of our identity. Except for the 1983 World Cup when Kapil Dev did that magic and we won the World Cup much before all of you were born, I presume. So those kind of things made us proud occasionally. And the default mode was that there wasn't so much to be proud about. In the last few years, we are now seeing, and especially during COVID, the world has woken up to the strength of India as a nation, Indians as a people, When we are now creating more than 100 unicorns during COVID, more than 75,000 startups, we are the fastest growing economy in the world. We have received the highest FDI in the world. And at the same time, America's economy is in a mess. UK is in a 20% inflation and China is on the 6th lockdown. And when you put ourselves rightfully in the platform of nations, automatically all things Indian become things to be in awe and respect of, including our culture, including our history, including who we are, including what we celebrate. So economic strength, technological strength are the most important ways to be respected in the world of today. And for us to be recognized as a country, civilizational country, and a country with a huge heritage and history of people, of rulers, of festivals, of celebrations, we had to become economically strong for people to notice us. And that is what in the last 8 years, that journey we have traveled. And I think today, after COVID especially, the world looks at India with awe and respect, and the world looks at everything Indian with a great deal of interest and respect.
Thank you, sir. My question is, at an early stage of your life, you were an architecture of a CPU. So how did you manage to do it when the networking was the greatest challenge?
No, Anjali, I got out of university and I was a prolific coder, and one of the things that I do when I go to universities nowadays to tell everybody, every young student, that regardless of what degree you get, you must graduate with one or two skills that you're very good at. Fortunately for me, nobody gave me the advice when I was a student, but fortunately for me, when I studied, I became a very good coder. And that coding capability led me to Intel. There was a legendary gentleman called Vinod Dham, who is still alive, and he's a famous name in the Silicon Valley. He hired me into Intel. He got me there. And he put me immediately on the 486, 80486 team. And very quickly from there moved me into the CPU architecture team of the Pentium.
Okay.
And the Pentium turns out, I did not know it then. Of course, nobody knows it when you're working on it. Turned out to be a very, very huge, big milestone in the evolution of CISC processors. And that gave me, let me say, the recognition or the whatever you want to call it, the confidence to move on. So it was, I don't want to pretend that it was very difficult and it was challenging and I climbed a mountain and I walked 25 miles, none of that. It came very instinctively to me. I got a break, but I did take that break and that opportunity that I got and worked very hard in becoming successful there.
Thank you, sir. That was truly insightful. My next question is, sir, can you please elaborate and tell us more about your ventures? You have an absolute thrilling entrepreneurial journey.
So I don't do that anymore. I did that for a while. By 2016, I had exited all my commercial interests and I am fully now in public life. But when I did invest, I built some few franchises in media, in media tech, in technology, in aviation tech, so not so much as aviation, and also mobile and mobile cellular. So those were the areas I was interested in then. That was 2006 to 2016, 1 decade of that. But today the world is very different, and today the investment opportunities and the opportunities per se are very, very, very different. And I think in the emerging tech area, deep tech area, semiconductor, artificial intelligence, blockchain, Web 3.0, these are the areas of the future that your friends and your colleagues would be looking at investing in.
Okay, sir, so when you were working on your venture actually, what were the obstacles and challenges you faced during your journey? And how did you overcome it and turn the venture into a successful one?
ये मुश्किल क्वेश्चन है क्योंकि मैंने कोई डॉक्यूमेंट तो रखा नहीं है उसका कि what are the difficulties. But I will say this, and this is a question that has been asked me, is it more difficult then than it is now to be a successful entrepreneur? And I will say this, it is easier now to be an entrepreneur than it was then, But it is more difficult to be a successful entrepreneur now than it was then. And the reason is today, whether I go to Marwadi University or Saurashtra University or Ganpat University or indeed any university in India, I meet hundreds of students who are already 1 foot into entrepreneurship. मेरे टाइम में वो था नहीं. मेरे टाइम में the default was नौकरी ढूंढो, टाटा बिरला में जॉब पाओ या सरकार में गवर्नमेंट में you take a job or you go abroad for studies. And so people like me who chose entrepreneurship were the rarity, were the exception rather than the rule. Today it is the rule rather than the exception, and therefore it is more competitive. It is easier to enter entrepreneurship, but it is far more difficult to be successful in it than it was in my time.
Totally, sir. We totally agree to that statement. So we know Gujarat is a land for business. And talking about Rajkot, we work in various domains. So can you tell us how we can evolve this industry into a manufacturing hub? Sorry for that. So how can we attract more startups based on manufacturing? So how can we bring that startup culture to the manufacturing?
This is a good question. I think manufacturing today is poised to become a very different type of manufacturing after 5G has been launched. As you know, on 1st of October, our Prime Minister has launched 5G. We are one of the few countries now in the world that has had 5G, and we are even amongst the fewer countries in the world that has its own independent 5G technology. Now 5G is going to have a transformational effect on manufacturing and be the gateway to Industry 4.0. More and more MSMEs, small enterprises, small manufacturing companies are going to find that to compete with in global markets, which they can now because of digital technology, you can sell your product sitting in Rajkot, you can sell it in USA or wherever you want to sell it because of the reach of digital technology. But more and more, for quality, for efficiency, for bandwidth in terms of volumes, you will need to adapt your manufacturing to Industry 4.0, more and more sensors, more and more technology-driven manufacturing rather than what the models were in the past. So I think Rajkot, I've seen this in many parts of Gujarat, where you have strength in manufacturing, you have a critical mass in manufacturing. For example, automobile ancillaries, there's a very strong supply chain in Rajkot. To basically take that and innovate and bring Industry 4.0 there and make all the MSMEs and all the ancillary manufacturers Industry 4.0 enabled is what the startup ecosystem can aim for in terms of opportunity. I'm not saying that is the exhaustive list of opportunities. There are, I'm sure, more. I've only been here for 2 days, so I don't know exactly what the depth and scope of it is. But clearly, existing capabilities, existing industries, digitalizing it means there is a tremendous number of opportunities for startups.
Thank you, sir. You know, entrepreneurship is an important skill in business, but many students coming from a non-business background, I think like it's a rocket science. So what, according to you, a budding entrepreneur should do in a world where they are not aware of?
So this is a question I'm asked a lot. Gives you what skilling gives you. So when you enter the workforce as a graduate student of commerce, arts, biotechnology, engineering, computer science, whatever, you should of course have knowledge, but you should also have some skills. And that will position you very well to be successful in the emerging, changing workforce and the opportunities in startups and entrepreneurship that India represents, New India represents.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful conversation we had. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Abhanis.
Yeah, thank you, Harsh, Anjali, Dhwani. Thank you for your time, and thank you for not giving me a hard time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Audience, if anybody in the audience has some questions to ask to sir.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम अभिनव सिंह है. My question is that in implementing some policies or anything which a government wants, they face or the nation face what we say as a change in government and then the delay in implementing policies, or rather put that policy in different bag. Sometimes we have seen that the policies have been in vain for more than a decade. So how do you cope up with this, and what is your suggestions when India is facing that the regime changes and the policy gets stalled, and by the time the policy gets implemented?
इसका आंसर बड़ा सिंपल है कि you should make sure, Indian citizens should make sure, voters should make sure that there's continuity in policy making. And the best way to do that is either to make sure that you don't have ideologically opposed people who come and create these disruptions. So my own simple point is, I usually make a presentation that says, what is the most important thing for young Indians today? You want more and more opportunities to grow and prosper. For that you need a strong economy. For that you need strong policies and strong economic policies, and for that you need strong leadership. Now you keep repeating that mantra wherever you go. आप कहाँ से हैं?
सर मैं यूपी से हूँ, लखनऊ से सर.
हाँ, तो आप लखनऊ में आए, लोगों ने बोल दिया ना कि कंसिस्टेंसी चाहिए, इसीलिए तो 2 बार योगी जी को वहाँ पे वोट मिला है. आप देखिए, मैं आपको बता दूं, आई एम नॉट बीइंग फैसिशियस, आई एम बीइंग सीरियस. आई एम मूल रूप से केरल से. अच्छा, आई आस्क अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन टू पीपल फ्रॉम केरला कि आपके 400 मील दूर पास में चेन्नई में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, इन्वेस्टमेंट के पीछे इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है, और केरल में कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं आता है. क्यों नहीं आता है? क्योंकि उसका 5 साल में एक पार्टी और दूसरे 5 साल में मार्क्सिस्ट. सो देयर इज अ डेफिनेट कॉस्ट दैट द लोकल इकोनॉमी एंड द पीपल हैव incurred when there is this political volatility. तो मेरा यही है कि आप बस हमें सपोर्ट करते रहिए. हम नए इंडिया का इस जर्नी को आगे लेगा रहेंगे. प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का जो विजन है कि हमें इकोनॉमिक पावर बनाना है, आप सबको प्रॉस्पेरिटी का एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले, इसी रास्ते पे हम काम करते रहेंगे.
धन्यवाद सर.
Thank you very much, sir. We can take only one more question now. Last question from the audience.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, during your mission, you talked about.
I can't hear you.
Thank you, sir. During your submission, you talked about getting a more connected India, where everyone would be on the internet. And also, you made us aware that your initiative is aware of the dangers of the internet. My question to you, sir, is how is your initiative going to cater for cyber hygiene and cyber hygiene practices, since everyone is going to be connected? And we need those practices to safeguard ourselves from being attacked on the internet. Thank you.
So you're using a phrase, Gene, which is a very polite phrase. We refer to this as user harm. And like I said to your colleagues who were questioning me, our principles and our expectations about the internet have 3 boundary conditions. One is that the internet should always be open, which means no big tech company, no government of the world should control the internet. It should be free and open. Number 2 is that the internet, and especially in the Indian context where 1.2 billion Indians are going to use it, there are going to be women, there are going to be children, there are going to be elderly, that the internet is always a safe and trusted space. And the third is that the internet, on the internet, every consumer has a relationship with a platform of accountability. i.e., if you are a large tech, big tech, medium tech, small tech platform, you are accountable to the consumer or the citizen. And in India's case, it's called the digital Nagrik. For this, we have a whole strategy of a new law called the Digital India Act. We will make it very, very difficult for those who try and commit user harm on the Indian internet. We will persevere, we will pursue them, and we will prosecute them. Our duty to our citizens is to make sure that the internet is safe and trusted, because there is a 12-year-old child on the internet using it for education. There is a woman who's using it for her own work. There are elderly people who are using it. So therefore, there is no space on the Indian internet for those who want to commit criminality or any kind of user harm, including doxing, gaslighting, cyber trolling, cyber fraud, all of that. So we have the tools. We didn't have the legislation. The legislation is 22 years old. We are coming up with a brand new legislation by the end of this year or early next year.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we end this interaction here. We are sure that our young students, aspiring innovators, will surely get inspired from this discussion. May I now request Shri Naresh Jadeja, sir, Honorable Registrar, to extend the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. It's indeed pleasure to have you with us today, sir. हम आज बहुत भाग्यशाली है कि इस हॉल के अंदर 4 ऐसे महान व्यक्ति हमारे साथ हाजिर हैं जिन्होंने शून्य में से सर्जन किया है। श्री राजीव चंद्रशेखर जी, श्री राम भाई मोकरिया, श्री केतन भाई मारवाड़ी, श्री जीतू भाई चंदाराणा, इन सब ने मिलकर हज़ारों जॉब पैदा की है, हज़ारों का रेवेन्यू जनरेट किया है। तय दिल से आप सबका हम शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं। साथ ही हम तय दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं गुजरात सरकार, शिक्षण विभाग, श्री जीतू भाई वाघाणी और डिंडोर सर का, जिन्होंने हमें ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी। हिरणमय मेहता सर और कंप्लीट iHub टीम, जो कि अगले आने वाले समय में हमें और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सपोर्ट करती रहेगी। हमारे प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी PS हैदर सर और कमिश्नर टेक्निकल एजुकेशन, कमिश्नर हायर एजुकेशन का हम आभार व्यक्त करते हैं, और साथ ही हम हर एक स्टूडेंट का तहे दिल से आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग ए पार्ट ऑफ इट।
Now it's time to felicitate the startups and innovators from the university, from the institute. I would like to call upon the team Udyog 4.0, Dr. Amit Sata, Mr. Philip Gajera, and Mr. Pinal Kantesharia. I would like to request Honorable Minister, sir, to felicitate them. Let's give a big hand to this team of innovators. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Team Kumbh Organics. Team Kumbh Organics. Dr. Aditya Saran, Dr. Archana Sharma, Ms. Karishma Baria, Mr. Dhaval Wan, Ms. Chinmay Pitroda, and Ms. Ruchita Rathod. They have been funded by NewGen IEDC. Thank you very much. I would now like to call upon Team Phantom Technocrats LLP, Professor Vivek Patel, Mr. Naresh Solanki, and Mr. Rishabh Rajput. They have also been funded from NewGen IETC. Thank you very much. Now the hackathon winners. I would like to invite Team Witchcraft, who stood first in Smart India Hackathon 2022, Professor Kishan Makadia, the mentor, Mr. Kiran Sethumadhavan, Ms. Tisha Kshatriya, Mr. Vatsal Ved, Mr. Akshaj Pillai, Mr. Deepak Taylor, and Mr. Neil Dolakia. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Team Code Linguistics, Dr. Raviraj Singh Waghela, the mentor, Ms. Ananya Satyanarayan, Ms. Neha Suva, Ms. Komal Bagchandani, and Ms. Disha Sanghvi. With a round of applause, we felicitate these innovators.